Do. La 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 la. Good that you're watching to the weekly stream. Every Wednesday I'm live, but I can already tell you the next few weeks won't be a stream. It's a crazy time, as in I'm gone. I'm going on trips and I will be back. But so you know, but it's nice to do it, and I think mid-May is when I can pick it up again. So good for you to know, but we can still do the show, of course. Today, hey Skata, good to see you. I saw quite some people already waiting. Sorry, I had to finish something first, so my short editor work on it. He's now working on it, so that is great. Finish it while we. How is everyone doing? I'm doing very well. It's interesting week. I wanna talk about some Assassin's Creed stuff. I want to actually record an Assassin's Creed video for JorRaptor in a moment here. Maybe we can already record some parts here. But yeah, good to see Severus here, Frank, Skata, as I already said, Steven, Melissa, Peps Gaming, Debonair. Good to see you as well. Of course, we got our lovely people on Twitch as well. So what has everyone been playing? I'm curious about that, because I'm think from now on I'm just gonna play a lot of I'm gonna play some Crimson Desert still, but also I'm ready for other things. Kinda Pragmata, of course, got pretty good reviews, which is, to be fair, super interesting. I did not expect to see the reviews be that high. 86. That's 94. That's crazy. I might check it out. And Mouse PI, of course, also. Okay, we just have the reviews for Replaced. 79. Okay, not bad either. Seamless experience that grabs your attention from the offset and doesn't let go. The seamless platforming and combat make you feel like an action star in one of your favorite blockbusters. Am I a bit quiet? I can pull it up a bit. Is this better? Let me know. Hey, Sander, good to see you as well. Jay Assassin. Is it confirmed Black Flag is out in May? No, the rumors are July. July 28th are the rumors. IGN reviews don't matter. Like, for me, I think it's always interesting. People always have a lot to say about IGN. And of course, my friend Luke Steven is one of those people. But then they still go and watch all their content. Like, I get it. They make pretty good videos and they get access to some stuff before some other people do with like IGN first and stuff. But if IGN reviews did not matter, then just stop watching them. I would say to everyone who says that. But yeah, those are still one of the most watched reviews. I agree. I think a 6 for Crimson Desert is kind of crazy. But I can also see if that person like is talking about it, made good points. I've not watched that review. Like, I'm one of those people that I'm like, I'm not watching IGN reviews because I don't really care about them. But then I also don't go and talk about it. Rumo Tenolo, thanks for joining. Since Hades 2 was coming out on console, I was replaying Hades 1 to get ready for it. Nice, yeah, I've played Hades 2 as well. It was such a great game. I was playing it on the ROG because it was, of course, on Game Pass. Was it on Game Pass? No, it was on Steam. Yeah, I was playing it on Steam on the ROG. Reblix says rip IGN. I mean, IGN I think is doing well. Like, why would we? I think having an IGN is good because then we still have a very, very big entertainment side that also goes to. I think it's a good like sort of bridge between the mainstream and gaming. I think it's good to have IGN. I don't know why we would want them to go. People I watch react to IGN. Yeah, that's what like. If IGN didn't matter, why do people react to IGN? Melissa, it's in Baldur's Gate 3, late Act 3. Nice. Nice. Sam Mac is saying yours back. Yeah, I am. I am. I'm back, but I'm also gone again soon. But it's for good stuff. Skolton, thanks for joining. Yeah, IGN only is good for some game guides. I don't know. I don't think their game guides are that good. They usually their advantage is that they have a lot. They usually get a lot of codes for games early, like IGN US, and then they can just play the game with a lot of people. But I looked at some of their like guides, and it feels like at one point they're just abandoned. So they're like all the sockets or all the gems or whatever, and then you go to the page and there are like 3 of them, and it's like, and then the rest is like TBD. We don't know where it is yet, but we will probably never find out. We will see. We will see, but I think it's good to have IGN. I think it's awesome that yeah, they're just a place. Like, I think that with games media going down, I think it's still good to have Gaming Press next to the gaming creators, because I do think some companies are more willing to share exclusives and stuff like that with Gaming Press or with these huge corporations, because they know that if someone breaks embargo or something else, they are basically getting fired from their job. And like, so there's, I think, a bigger incentive to not do it. I think for a YouTuber or whatever, obviously a lot of the like people don't want to do it, but you could still see like one person going rogue and then knowing, okay, but my audience will still be there, so I don't care about NDAs and then leaking stuff. I don't know. Either way, I don't get the IGN hate. Sometimes I get it. Like the Arc Raiders video that Luke Stevens talked about, that is a good example. Like, what the heck were they thinking? It's good to have some quality control, but yeah, having the reviews, and they have multiple people playing their games. I think one of the articles, again, it's super unique that one website gets a ton of code. So I think it's a pretty cool for Resident Evil. They had, I think, like 4 people playing it. So they had, okay, what was the average time? Usually you have one review who says, okay, I beat it in 8 hours. But yeah, you kind of don't know. Like, is that how everyone is going to experience the game? Did that person do a lot of the puzzles or a lot of the side content or whatever? But with their Resident Evil article, we can like probably look it up. How long to beat Resident Evil 9 IGN. They had like multiple people. So it was like, oh, our fastest player finished it in 4.5 hours, our slowest in 16. So I think that's a good, like, I think that's pretty cool that they were able to have multiple people play the game and they all played it in a different way. That's unique. We need this. This is cool. So yeah, I think that's my IGN rant. How many handheld PC do you have? Too many, Thomas. I bought the ROG Li X. Then I got, like, for free, the Xbox ROG Li. And yeah, why would you use the ROG Li X when you have the Xbox Li? And by the way, while scrolling here, I see that the latest Invincible episode, my face is blocking it, got a 10. I've been watching the new season, but cool. Can't wait to watch that one. Your Velociraptor, yeah, Drugged Camel, that some people call me that. Is the Black Flag remake still expected tomorrow? Okay, let's go to the most recent information on that, because I'm kind of losing track. And of course, we then have our lovely Severus, who was already in the chat there as well. Boom. What are we saying? Oh! Skarabushki, labalushki, dabadushki, dabadushki. Oh no, that's Pirates of the Caribbean. And a different version some people might know. But, okay. This is interesting. Tom Henderson is like, who's ready? I am. I am ready to see it. We're close. Let's go. Media event Buzz. Do you really think I got a divide? I believe it's tomorrow. Shkabadushki, labadushki. Are we still getting the state of play, though? I think we might get an announcement during this stream, but I also don't really know. I want to zoom in a bit. It took about 12 hours, actually. Again, for Resident Evil, again, like, they had one person 4, one person was slow for 16. Like, 4 was a second playthrough from someone. So, yeah, it's somewhere in the middle. Like, I think it's a good way. Is Black Flag dropping this year too? So for people who are not up to date, who for some reason, and don't do this, of course, but I know some people are not always making the right decisions. I'm kidding, but of course, totally check the Sunday videos where we talk about all the gaming news of the week. And there I also discussed this article from Tom Henderson, who is now posting the Labadushki, Dabadushki, Namanushki, Labadushki cinematic trailer for Black Flag. A new report claims that Black Flag called Resynced is set to be announced next week, and this was last week. That's according to Reset user Blackbait. So for whatever reason, out of nowhere, we got a guy with a shirt with 2 fists on it, and he's like, yo, I got a friend or an uncle at Ubisoft, and I know what's going on. Did this person talk about more things? But basically, they said, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake. Announcements planned to go live on the 16th, and there's also an event taking place later this month. Release not too far away. And then we go back to our friend Tom Henderson, or our friend. I should not say that. I've never met Tom Henderson, but we talk on social media. He seems like a nice person. Although I of course know that not everyone likes him if you work at Ubisoft, probably. Insider Gaming also understands that the announcement has been planned for April 16th for some time, often citing the mid-April release window on the Insider Gaming podcast. According to internal documentation obtained by Insider Gaming, if it does not go public, the game is scheduled to release in financial year 2027 Q2. So how the financial years always work, I got some comments in the Sunday video as well. People were like, wait, 2027? Financial year, you start in April 2026. Many companies do. They don't use the calendar year. And then it is until March 2027. And that means that they call their financial year 2027 because it ends in 2027. So Q2 is, from June to August. Some sources have suggested that the game will release in July, but given Ubisoft's tendency to delay or outright cancel its games, we suggest that taking this date with a grain of salt. And this is like a line. This is like what he why he says this is because if you remember, if we go back in time to the start of this year, he was the person who said, Prince of Persia, the Sands of Time remake is coming out mid-April or mid-January, everyone. Get excited. Mid-January happened, nothing Prince of Persia related. And then a few weeks later, Ubisoft was like, we canceled the game. So they're not going to cancel the Black Flag remake, obviously, but that's why right now, the July 28th date that one bookstore has posted, that Severus, I think, found or had posted about, that seems to be the date. That's a Tuesday. And I hope it's not true, because I'm not here. I'm going on a trip now here in April, and and I had my brother's wedding in I just came back, of course. And there's one other week in July where I'm not home, and they could not have picked a worse time. That's all I'm gonna say. But before that, I'm trying to clone myself, and I will tell you how that goes. Okay, let's. Severus is saying that we got some extra info. Yeah, Scripts and Death sold 5 million copies. I saw Steven talk about that already. I hope we see something tomorrow. Me too, Peps Gaming. Me too. Hey, your Metro 2039 is tomorrow. Yeah, Rit, that is awesome. It's like an Xbox show or something. Yeah, that will be very, very interesting indeed. Finally, a new Metro game after 7 years, right? Exodus came, or yeah, Exodus came at 2019 or 2018. But yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. I did see like a black flag. It feels like they're always using the same image, or at least seems like it. Their service is being mentioned. Spotted by Pedro. Oh. Yeah, and this is the website, of course, the rating. I mean, this game has been rated like countless of times. I think this is the most rated game that has not been announced. The title breathes new life into the fan favorite while remaining carefully faithful to the spirit of the original. We will be the judge of that. We will be the judge of that. But let's hope it's true. I would love that. But yeah, I think carefully faithful. We already know that the modern day is not gonna be there. So is that carefully faithful in the eyes of some people? Not. I think I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it if it means we get more content. Because if we read on, it follows the story of charismatic pirate and assassin Edward Kenway as he adventures through the 18th century Caribbean with parkours in cities and battles at seas in search of fortune and glory. Modernized in 2026, the new game includes a cast of new characters and stories. Papadoo? Okay, that is pretty interesting. That is pretty interesting. I mean, I think that would be a huge selling point if they actually have brand new content. And that was always the rumor, right? Instead of having the modern day, they would do brand new content. But yeah, it focused on new characters and stories. Like, that is interesting. Modernized, the only word I hate in gaming. Like, I think what they mean with modernized here is probably that it's that in terms of graphics. I think that is probably what they mean. That's what I think. I had an interview on Monday, actually. Can I show that? Yeah. I think I'm able to. I'm allowed to show this. With Nicholas, it was almost 30 minutes, as you can see right here. So this is the technical. Like, he works on the Anvil engine. It was mostly based on those videos, right? They posted a lot of like videos on the Ubisoft channel talking about the Anvil engine and the upgrades they made for Shadows. And I was able to ask a bit more about what it means for the future. And yeah, basically he also said in terms of the remakes that, let me see if I can get like some of the information here. I want to talk about it in that Assassin Raptor video that I plan to do after this stream. Can I search here? Remake. Yeah, so all the new tech, the ray tracing, the seasons, the destruction, it's all available for the remakes as well. But it will require rebuilding assets. So basically, and we've heard about that in sort of like rumors as well. Expect Black Flag to basically look like Shadows. And I think Shadows looks really good, but it's where you think sometimes of a remake as well, you think of a like Resident Evil, and then you know, okay, this is a PS1 game or like a very old game. Now it looks very modern. So I think mostly the improvements that we will see in Black Flag are the wind tech and that sort of stuff, and ray tracing and all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, I'm sure they will do this is what it looked like, and this is what it looks like now. I am curious if they do this is what it looked like on Xbox 360, and this is what it looks like on PS5 Pro. We will see what they do, Or if it's like, this was what it looked like on PC Ultra specs, and this is what it looks like on the PC Ultra specs now. But that is very interesting. Ubisoft is in serious trouble and its reputation in tatters. Andrew, I think, and I'm always want to be optimistic. Like, I think having a successful Ubisoft is better for everyone. As also for the gaming. It's like people who, I'm not saying that anyone watching this stream is, but a lot of people are always rooting for Ubisoft's failure, but they employ like a ton of game developers. A lot of game developers before going to a Blizzard or CD Projekt Red or like other like more prestige teams work or get their ropes like at Ubisoft. So having them go down, having them would be bad for talent as well. And some people don't realize that. But obviously they have to like figure it out themselves. Like it's not a charity. We should not like give them money without them providing us what we want. But I think it's good to hopefully be optimistic and hope that they succeed. And the Black Flag remake should be a surefire hit. But like I see some people say that they think that maybe the cutscenes will be toned down, and I would be shocked. Like I really look. I don't. They're not stupid. I really believe that. I don't think they're going from, yo, we had these motion capture scenes and now they're static and blah, 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 only their mouth is moving. I would love it if for some of the, because of course the Black Flag main story cutscenes are really well done, for some of the side content as well, but there's a lot of the side content also, like where you go after the I think it's a Templar outfit in your home base, right? You need the keys. And then you have to go to a lot of like different spots in the world to help like an assassin there and then get the Templar key. And some of these conversations can be static. It's like, help me with the Templars that are attacking or whatever. And I would love it if they're like, we improved that. So I think I would be down for that. I think where they can shoot themselves in the foot, and that is maybe also why they delayed it. Of course, it was first planned to launch in March already. That's the RPG parts. Like, I think what they should do is still have better combat, but maybe not go as far as make it full RPG combat. It's gonna be fascinating to see. If I would like, if they would make the game better in my eyes, I think that would be a bit different than I think what a lot of other people would want, if that makes sense. Like, I would be down if they just made the Shadows combat, like, give us more depth in that regard and stuff like that. But I think if they do the older combat and improve it a bit, but I think more enemies is very important. I really hope they do that, because there's really almost no variety in the enemy design in Black Flag. So we will see, but maybe for the Black Flag remake, it might also be not touching some parts. Yeah, would go over better than trying to do everything. I think it's a minefield as well for them. I think they can step on some mines that might not go over well with the community, and Ubisoft needs a surefire win. So I think even if you don't care about the Black Flag remake, I know a lot of people do. Even if you don't care, I think it's going to be fascinating to see how they roll this out. RPG era combat would kill the game for me, and I want to like it so badly. Again, Skolton, I get it, and it might be better for them to not go that far. To do, my perfect world would be, hey, choose the combat you want. So you start the game, it's like, do you want the classic way or do you want the new way? And like, But that was obviously way easier said than done, because they would have to change a lot of the combat encounters and etc, etc. But I think really that if you say you want the old combat, you've not played Black Flag in a long time, because the combat is really not good. But I think that what people like about that combat is that you can easily feel like a badass, and they associate the RPG combat with enemies requiring a lot of hits before being taken down, or oh, I need to have this weapon to even do damage, or I need to upgrade my hidden blade to like an insta kill. Like they're not going to touch that, I think. But if they just make the RPG combat, but the enemy still dies from a few swings, and I think if they already have all these weapons, maybe don't add new ones. I would love that, like a bit more rewards from exploring. I think having a lot of the weapons locked behind just going to the blacksmith and buying it there, it's not really exciting. I think it would be cooler if there are chests somewhere that give you a cool sword that has a perk that says, yo, I don't know, you have a chance to get your bullet back or something like that. Maybe I'm getting crazy here, but I think it would be exciting to have, okay, this weapon has 10 attack, this weapon has 10 attack, but they all have different perks. So you can, there is a different way. Like your Edward at the end of the journey will be different than mine. And I think right now in the game, there's a pretty linear progression path, right? The outfit you choose is gonna be different because some have different perks, but apart from that, it's like you want to get the best weapon. And there is, I think there's just one, if I remember correctly. So I think having more variety in that sense would, I think, be cool, and making exploration more rewarding, that you can actually find cool gear, would, I think, be awesome too. I remember Prince of Persia combat being great back in the day. No skull and bones, please. I think Skull and Bones for the naval combat could be awesome. Like, that game has a ton of depth for the naval stuff. Shadows being only a next-gen game is honestly not great. Fallout was cross-gen and looked better in every way. I really don't get why. What? I don't get that comment, Pyrus. I appreciate you being here, but I'm not sure why. Like, it is good that a game moves to a new platform and doesn't have to run on old tech, so they can focus on new tech. And we are reaching a point right now where I think the PS5 and Xbox, maybe Series S even, will be supported way longer than previous consoles, because I do think we've reached a point where a game looks amazing already. Like, you don't need so I think, and it's also in their best interest. I think we had numbers leak. Like, there was a Rockstar hack where they were talking about the GTA Online numbers, and I think like a pretty sizable amount was still playing on PS4, which is crazy. But yeah, that shows that still supporting that platform for a mainstream game like that matters. And maybe Shadows would have done a bit better if it was on PS4, but I think it's awesome that they were ditching that so they could focus on the seasons and the destructible environment and the hair of Naue that they want to now like use for other NPCs in future games as well. Like, there's a lot in Shadows that simply is not possible on PS4 and Xbox One. So it's great that they were ditching those platforms, making a new, okay, this is gonna be the sort of like the start of a brand new series of Assassin's Creed games. And Shadows was the starting point for that. And now Black Flag will reap the benefits from the tech upgrades that they made with Shadows, and future games will do that too. And if they had to launch on PS4 and Xbox One, we would never be able to make jumps like that, like the ones that we saw in Shadows. Agreed, Seth. They need to stop cutting corners with the lack of mocap scenes, and that's why I'm like happy that that the new leaders that are in charge of Assassin's Creed now are from the Montreal teams, because the Montreal games usually, I mean, Valhalla of course ditched that a bit, but Origins, for all their main content, still had the motion capture scenes. They all looked great. Valhalla had a lot of cool motion capture scenes, but it was mostly at the start and at the end of the game. But how big that game was. But I think they're listening, and I think if Hexay does not have only motion. Like, we don't need like Hexay being a shorter game cannot have the cut corners with the characters standing around and the faces move. Sure, if there's side content in that game as well, that will not have the quality of motion capture scenes that we see in the main story. But still, I think I like the side content the most, and the Crimson Desert is a great example of that. That game has side content that sometimes feels like a main story mission, and I think that feels so rewarding in an open world game that I'm going to help this person, and then whoa, this quest is way longer. Whoa, I got like this amazing cutscene that I know I otherwise would have missed, and then you appreciate the extra time you put into that mission because you were rewarded with a very cool scene. And in Ubisoft games, it's super predictable. Origins did have, if you don't remember, Origins did have some very, very cool side mission cutscenes as well that you could miss. But there were only a few of them because a lot of the side missions were just, they were standing like face to face and not really moving their body, just their face. But some of them would end in like a cool cutscene. They're like, wow, awesome. Give us the Crimson Desert combat, what? Ship combat, I think, will be a mix of Odyssey and the Black Flag original. Odyssey, I don't know. Like, did Odyssey really add more? I think Odyssey didn't have much more new things added to the Black Flag naval stuff, right? Remember, correct me if I'm wrong. Next gen is PS6 plus Helix. We've been too long in current gen to still call it next gen. I know. Did I say next gen? Because I agree. Hey, Slawomir, good to see you. I hope the combat system is not designed to facilitate shop sales. Look, my stance right now, and I still want to do a react video on it. I think Crimson Desert has changed the way we should look at, like, Ubisoft. What you did during those previous generations, back then, you were one of the only people that were doing it. I think, in terms of single-player post-launch support for these Assassin's Creed RPG games. Shadows kind of fumbled, obviously. But now Crimson Desert has set a new standard. And that new standard is just give people different mounts. Like, don't have them pay. Like, don't only do horses, and then if you want to ride a lion, you have to pay. Crimson Desert is just, yo, we have a free update. Oh, by the way, you can now ride all these crazy animals. Like, what the heck? In a Ubisoft game, you would have to pay for these mounts, like $20. So they raised the bar. And also in terms of like how quickly they respond with feedback, because there is something going on in that pipeline from Ubisoft. I find it like, obviously, sometimes it's kind of apple and oranges in terms of comparing like studios, because yeah, of how they operate. But I think Crimson Desert is a huge, like, it is what it is an Assassin's Creed RPG in many ways. In many ways, it is like a Valhalla. But they now raise the bar. They are able to look at feedback from Reddit, from YouTube videos, and immediately respond. Next week, you got an update with those things fixed. That is crazy. While with Assassin's Creed, it's like, yo, put it in our bug fix thing, and then we will give it a, oh, we're working on it, we're looking into it. And that's kind of cool for visibility, but it always feels like, okay, if it's, okay, they're now saying that they are aware. Oh, see you in 2 months when it's probably fixed, we hope. And then they do the roadmap, and it's like, yeah, we did this, this, and this in the update. And for Crimson Desert, that's just another day at the office. So I really think next RPG, oh man, they gotta up it. I do think a big difference though, and I think that might also be a new approach for Ubisoft that is, I think, smart. Like, I think a lot, and I mean a lot, of the Crimson Desert development team is still on the game after launch. While with Ubisoft, what they do is they put the game out, they like, hey Simon, you go do the post-launch, right? Okay, yeah, here are 30 other developers. I don't know the size, but it's probably not a lot. That's what Simon has been saying constantly. It's like, for the amount of people that we have still working on Shadows, we did quite a lot of cool stuff. And okay, that's cool, but for us, like, consumers, we are like, okay, I pay $60 for this, I pay $60 for this. And this game gives me all the feedback and all the things in 1 week. And for this game, I have to wait a few months to get the things that maybe should have been in the game at launch. Like, okay, I know where I'm going. So, really, the battlefield has changed. And I think, like, maybe if for Shadows they put a bigger team on reacting to all the stuff that we wanted and releasing it faster without having to wait a year, maybe more people would have bought the game. That is what you see with Crimson Desert as well, and that's what they've been saying, like what Sean, I think his name is Sean, right, from Hello Games, from No Man's Sky, they do all their updates for No Man's Sky for free, and you're like, what? Why would you do that? Like, people would probably pay for the DLC as well, but what they say is that every time they launch an update, people will return to the game, and new people will buy the game. So their way of getting money and getting the game funded is just making it a better product. Every update makes the base game a way more compelling product. And for Crimson Desert, it's the same. Playing Crimson Desert now, completely different than a month ago. And yeah, it's constantly being talked about in a positive light. You feel like, oh, I waited a month. Oh, maybe it's, I don't think Crimson Desert on sale, but oh, okay, now the business proposition for this game is way better. I'm gonna buy it now. And maybe if Ubisoft is a bit more aggressive with their post-launch, not immediately disbanding the team and letting them work on other games, which kind of the old school way of thinking. No, maybe realize, whoa, the last big game that we put out was Valhalla. It's now 5 years later, we finally have a new game. Let's not abandon it immediately. And let's work on it, make it better, so it is a better product for people that are on the fence, that want to buy it or not. Maybe I hope that that's what they are doing, because now they're putting all those people into projects that might get cancelled, that might be delayed, that, I don't know, will be 5 years out. While if they're like, we finally launched the game, let's put more people in it. That's what Crimson Desert is doing. That's still selling 4 or 5 months after launch. Just putting some things out there, but I think it could be interesting. Well, yeah, they put out a pile of shit, so they're fixing it. I'm enjoying the game. Rumo Tonello, you're talking about Crimson Desert. I don't think that is fair. Like they obviously there was always a really, really good game there. It's just that I think their design philosophy... Look, I'm more trying to explain it because I totally agree. And I got a lot of crap for this pre-launch. Saying the puzzles, they're super convoluted. It's really hard to understand them. Few updates, they made them easier. Right now, if you do a puzzle, it's like, yo, go do this. Go do, connect this wire to this thing and then hit the lever over there. Those things were not in the game when I played it, when I got crap for it, that people were like, oh, what the fuck, are you bad at games? Like, no, I like a good puzzle, but I do want to know what I even have to do. I do want to understand, okay, if this time, like, this sort of lever means that I have to pull it, and the other time it means that I have to push it, there's no explanation for it. Like, there are some buttons, and some of the times you have to, like, use your body, basically, so run up to the button and then push it. Other times you have to use your force palm. Other times you have to not push it. It's like, what do you want me to do? It's super hard. Like, there's one tower, and I'm sure that everyone in Crimson Desert has this issue. Maybe they already changed it. But there's like one tower that you have to climb for, like, the Act 5 boss. You go there, and there are like sort of rocks that are blocking the entrance. But it does seem like you can push them and then enter the tower and go up. But no, nothing works. Like, you're like, what the? I'm using my grapple hook, but the other time when I could do this, and now they're like, okay, and then you have to find another entrance, which totally not clear. So there are a lot of things like that. But I think that there was still a very special game underneath all that, and yeah, they could have done a much better job. I think it's interesting that those things, and they might have been like talked about pre-launch, but maybe there were like people in charge that were like, no, this is our vision, we're gonna do it like this. And then when the game came out and way more people were talking about it, they were like, okay, we do want to sell the game, so let's make these changes. But I think there's so much, like, I don't think Crimson Desert is a pile of shit when it came out. Yeah, they are making the game just less frustrating. There were a lot of like pain points in the game, and they're now ironing those out. And I think that's great. Bro probably like Syndicate 2. I thought Syndicate wasn't that bad. Can't say anything good. Yo, I didn't know you stream. I watch your YouTube videos. Love from the USA. Well, Trev, thanks for joining. Yeah, I do stream every Wednesday, although next week on Wednesday and the week after that on Wednesday. But after that, I'm back. Please. We're gonna pick it up. Trust me, but yeah, it's a bit hectic, but it's fun. Fun hectic. Agreed, but I think the game has such an insane amount of flaws that they have to fix it quickly. Look, I think if it's like a Cyberpunk situation where your game doesn't even work, that I think that is like that is a pile of shit situation. That is like what you're putting this on platforms where if you run it, it is like below 30 all the time. You can it looks like a freaking Lego game, like a bricks, like the graphics are not there, nothing is loading, etc., etc. Then you have to run in and fix things. These are just design issues that I like. My theory for Crimson Desert is like they've been working on this game for 8 years, and at one point you understand the game on another level and cannot put yourself in the shoes of a person who's never touched the game. So that's why they're like, yeah, obviously this button you need to do this, and obviously with this lever you have to pull it like this. And I don't think they could like move themselves like yeah, if you like talk about something and you have all this knowledge and you like try to explain it to someone who doesn't understand it, then you always have this conversation where this person uses words or cuts like already jumps to a sort of conclusion without explaining it because they think, oh, the person would understand it as well, and they're like, what the heck are you talking about? I've never heard about this. So I think that might have been the case. I don't think that like talks like that is not a good situation for them. They should have had people play it and give them that feedback. Maybe they had, but they did not. Like, I overall think, and I've said it before, that it's kind of wild that they realized all these things after launch, but they did the best thing possible. They were like, you're right, here, more fast travel points, so it's not a pain in the ass to travel around in this world. Yeah, you're right, the inventory management sucks. Here you have more inventory slots, etc., etc. Still crazy to me that they had people play the whole game, because if you think the inventory management in Crimson Desert is bad right now, imagine, during the review process, for the first week, we were playing with 20% of the inventory that you probably have right now. And there was no storage crate in the base and stuff like that. Wow. Great. Crazy. Crazy. What's funny is Luke sounds bad at puzzles. I was watching his stream when he spoke about this and showed his notes for one puzzle he was working on. It was the most simple shit ever, he wrote down. Look, I think always. Did Luke say you were bad at puzzles? No, he never said that. And I think he did say, like, there are just different types of puzzles for different people. Some people understand the puzzle immediately and they're like, how can you not understand this? While they would struggle at a combat encounter or something else, and then that other person that struggles at that puzzle would be like, yeah, but I did this combat, like this boss fight was easy. So it's just different for everyone. It like what the discussion we had, like I talked about during the preview, I talked about, I think these puzzles are not really clearly explained. And that was my feedback. And then obviously, and I get it, like people are like, oh, you're bad at it. That is of course a fun remark to make. But it's super hard because everyone who said that, I get good, you're not good at puzzles. Oh, you like it when Aloy immediately gives you the solution. Oh, you're what's wrong with modern gamers, etc., etc. But all those people did not play it. Like I would have loved to screenshot every comment that said that. Then, launch of Crimson Desert. I would install a camera in their home. And then I would watch them play these puzzles for the first time. And sure, if they like immediately like, oh, it's this, and this, and this, then I would be like, okay, I'm wrong. But I probably would have been sitting there with popcorn being like, yeah, I did this too. Yeah, oh, he's looking up a guide. Oh, I did not have a guide. But yeah, we will never know. But that is what it, of course, usually is. Trev, I appreciate you a lot for gifting a sub there. That's super kind. Yeah, appreciate you joining here for the stream. And yeah, I'm also live on YouTube, by the way, but on the React channel, for if you don't know. I'm confident they skipped QA entirely. Hey, Lego's great. Yeah, Lego, in terms of like the Cyberpunk graphics, was not a great comparison. What I mostly meant was that the graphics looked kind of blocky. The Ancient F, hey, morning. I still hate the inventory management in CD. Like, trust me, the review process was brutal. Like, we all fought. Everyone fought. Watching that one of those videos where it was like, yeah, you can have your gray main base, where every mission you return to chill out with your comrades, and you can upgrade it. Everyone was like, yeah, the inventory, like, it might not look great, but obviously they would have a storage crate at the base. Every game has that. That makes so much sense. And then during the review process, we were like, did anyone find the storage crate in the camp? And I was like, oh, there is no storage crate. Okay. And I mean, kudos to them. They added it very quickly. But that is such an oversight. It kind of like, again, I'm really curious. The people that working at Pearl Abyss, I know one of the things that was crazy about the Crimson Desert, like, I think usually when people work in gaming companies or like in marketing, they obviously see the presentations. I'm not sure if a lot of the people that do the marketing for a game have finished that game or played a lot of that game. Sometimes you're like a PR agency, you don't even have access to the game or whatever. But I know for Pearl Abyss, they had to play the game a lot during the pre-launch. So they would understand what they were selling, and I think that's very good. But I think that's interesting that maybe they just never like played. I think they also played it from start to finish. That's crazy. Maybe they were like, okay, but it's not my real save, so I don't care about the inventory management. I'm just gonna delete everything. I'm not gonna loot everything or something. It's still wild to me that, yeah. People complaining about some bosses made no sense. The Redevil, they are easy as fuck. People just want a hand-holding combat simulator. Pyrus, you're, by the way, very, very positive, which is very appreciated. When did you play the freaking Redevil boss? Because if you do Control F in every patch note since launch, I think the first 3, they nerfed the freaking heck out of the Redevil. And I think that's also funny about I think that's also funny about gaming journalism difficulty. Oh man, gaming journalism difficulty. Of course, I like the meme. It's funny. We had the Cuphead, the Cuphead, right? Tutorial video where someone was playing and they sucked. And that is funny to look at. And IGN posted that gameplay, I think, right? Or was it GameSpot? That someone posted that gameplay and was like, looks great. Looks great, guys. Let's post that. Is that still online? Let's look it up. Let's freaking Cuphead. Oh, Polygon. Ah, no, the video is private. It was Polygon, okay. Ah, the video is private. No! I want to see this. Why is it... Oh yeah, I think that this is it. I think it was like really this is just gameplay, right, of Cuphead. I remember it being like the tutorial and he could not jump or something. This is just regular gameplay, I think. I don't think this is the gaming journalism gameplay. But my point is basically with gaming journalism gameplay. And I have some friends that work at IGN Benelux. And he made a very good point. He said, we had to play Shadow of the Erdtree pre-launch. And I think they also like changed a lot. Made easier. I think they did something. Update. Yeah, I see one here. Let's see if we can. Okay, the final boss. They made the final boss easier. But did they also... Yeah, here. The blessings have been tweaked to make it easy. So, people that were playing pre-launch, the gaming journalists that were playing this for the review had a way harder DLC. For Crimson Desert, the exact same. The game was much harder. I think that's good to realize when you see the gaming journalism difficulty. And sure, there are gaming journalists where you're like, okay, but how you play a lot of games, right? So what's going on here? And the Cuphead video was very funny. But I really think, and we really saw that during the Crimson Desert pre-launch as well. Like there were a lot of like gaming journalism, journalists like sharing tips and helping each other out in the Discord, and they were all really far in the game. Again, in the pre-launch version that was way harder than it is right now. So yeah, good to keep that in mind. Will you be trying out Pragmata? Does IGN once again have that article? I think I actually want to. Is it out already? It's only 8 hours. I, by the way, pay for some gaming websites. So, yeah, I'm using ad blocker because I don't think you can live without it on the internet. But I'm, of course, against it overall on YouTube. And on... I Patreon, like the VGC people and stuff. But some sites are just impossible to read. 7 to 10 hours, 12 to 18. I think that's... Is it like a full price game? It is, right? But yeah, I think I will be checking. I might be checking it out. If it runs on the Xbox ROG Ally, then I could bring it. Pragmata. This is the demo that runs exceptionally well. Oh, it looks really bad though. Oh my god. This is on PS3 shit. $70 for 8 hours is getting ridiculous, yeah. Hey Yor, do you think we'll ever see Ubisoft make another Prince of Persia? Mendo, I really think it's gonna be it is running at 60 though, I think. Yeah, 52. That's not bad actually. But I don't know. I think it will be a long time before we see another Prince of Persia. They launched like the 2 games back to back, which was really strange. The Rogue Prince of Persia and of course the Lost Crown. And they canceled the remake. Like, I think the remake was the safest bet, and they somehow shied away from that. They were not able to make it work. So I don't know. Personally, I'm not really expecting it. Or at least anytime soon. Reggie, will you be trying out Pragmata? So yeah, I will, I think. But be honest, most gaming journalists ain't as hardcore as the typical gamer. I think that really makes no sense to say that. Because what is hardcore in your eyes, Steven? These people, they live and they go to work, they live and breathe video games every day, and then they go home. Like, during work hours, they probably cannot even play the game. They have to make articles and videos. And then, in their free time, they go play the game for a review. So, I think they're more hardcore than most gamers. Like, sure, there are, for whatever reason, gamers that have no other obligations and can just play 500 hours of a game. Sure, they're not as hardcore as that. But the difference is, gaming journalists have to jump between games. When they get Pragmata finished, they immediately get the review code for Mouse PI or whatever other game is coming out. So they have to jump around. They cannot do the New Game Plus run or the end game, all the end game content or every tiny secret or puzzle. No, because they have to make another review. So, but they have a large knowledge of a lot of different games that are coming out. And the gaming industry hopefully as well, because they have to report on that. So I think them saying they're not as hardcore as the typical gamer makes no sense at all. Cyberpunk improvements took 3 years. I think how will Crimson Desert look in 3 years time? Like, I do think at one point, like, that's what they already said, they will be moving on to their other game, the Pokemon game. What's it called? Doki Fee. Body P. Doki Fee. Which looked crazy. Remember those trailers. Remember those freaking trailers. This is their next game. But it could be huge, though. It could be huge. And looks kind of awesome. Looks kind of wild. 2 years away, probably 3 years. And like, okay, what are we doing? We're just skating. We're flying around. We're doing. You kind of see the Crimson Desert things with the gliding and stuff like there. But then you're like, oh, what is going on right now? Okay, we have some robots. What? It's Pokemon? We're fighting crazy creatures. So yeah, I do think at one point the Crimson Desert team will be a little smaller, and then they will go and go crazy on this game. But it is an interesting tactic to, instead of being like, yo, Crimson Desert. I mean, right now it's sold 5 million, which is crazy, and will likely. Like, I totally think it will sell 10 million at one point, maybe more. Instead of being like, yeah, let's make Crimson Desert 2, they're like, no, let's do Pokemon, Animal Crossing, whatever. Been grinding Hades 2 this morning. Nice, man. Seeing a lot of love for Hades 2, and it's totally good. Sounds good. I pre-ordered. Can't wait. The demo was awesome. I love the combat in Replaced. Ooh, I still need to... Yeah, Replaced is also on my radar. The demo was awesome. Also played Replayed right now, and it has so much shots. Nice. Remote and hello. Doke Feet. I mean, maybe it will sell more if it's called Doke Feet 53 Nights. Hey, do you think... hey, Yor, do you think the new Ghost Recon delays means that it might pivot to third person at first? Look, I think if they... I think what they saw with Avatar should help tell them that maybe launching with an option is gonna be way better for that game. Because having a first-person shooter, that's a crowded market, and there are a lot of like smaller teams right now that are also doing first-person shooters. Like, it feels like every time I open Steam, there's like another military tactical shooter that is out that is doing pretty well, but with a way smaller team, so they can like offer the game for less, and they're updating it. So probably by the time the new Ghost Recon comes out, these games are more feature complete, cheaper, etc. So they're like competing with a lot of other games, way more than when the last Ghost Recon came out. And then they're also shifting away to like first person, something that might cause traditional buyers of Ghost Recon, like their traditional fans, to be like, I might skip this one. So I would be... it's probably easier said than done to add a third person mode, but like if they're doing PvP, maybe do that first person only, but then have like a third person mode or like a third person lobby, like Call of Duty had that, like third person lobbies, and then have the open world be what you want. I think that would be a way smarter idea. But yeah, maybe the delay, that's what I hope. Maybe the delay does in fact mean that yeah, that they're adding more like that. This game always looked cool as hell, right? Yeah. And right now they can be like when Crimson Desert came out, like a lot of I don't think there's a lot of overlap from Black Desert Online people to Crimson Desert, but when DokeV comes out and Crimson Desert is probably much better than it is now, and we can point to look at how they supported that game and how awesome it was and how good it is right now. I'm day one DokeV. Like I trust these developers, so I think that's pretty good. That's good stuff. I think DokeV might get bigger as well. It should be on Switch too as well, though. That totally feels like a Nintendo game as well. Charles says also a lot of them don't play games or beat them. That's why they hide their playtime a lot of the times. I don't know about that. Sure, totally there are some gaming journalists, just like there are YouTubers, whatever, that are, I don't know, that are going along and blah, blah, but like gaming journalists is like they're all in one camp. I'm just saying that there are a lot of people that are probably better at games than most people because they play pre-release versions without all the updates that make games more balanced, etc. But people tend to forget that. I just think the gaming journalist being a bad name just doesn't make sense. Cool is saying, looks like no state of play tomorrow. Yeah, that is interesting. I was already kind of like, that's not really typical Sony to do a state of play. But yeah. At least we do get the Metro reveal, and yeah, probably Black Flag 2, I would think. We will see. But there are still a lot of other games where it's like, I will keep an eye out. But yeah, Sony has never just dropped a state of play. They always announced it. And maybe in 15 minutes they will announce it, but I agree, it's looking less likely. It's looking less likely. I still think like a lot of the things from the Sunday video, like the Metro, of course, and it is interesting though. It does seem like the person that talked about the Metro game, like they also said that there would be a state of play. It's interesting. We will have to wait and see. $400 for PS6, highly unlikely. Yeah, I mean the rumors are that it should be cheaper for Sony to make than the PS5, which would be huge. That they would be smaller, so they can like transfer more in one go, etc., etc. Cheaper device overall, all to combat the rising cost. And they might do a PlayStation 6S. That seems to be the rumor, but we will see. But yeah, there's no state of play announced yet. No. I think they make the wrong people play games don't like. What do you mean, Peps Gaming? Mendo, what do you think about the PS6's S? Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Suggesting it might come at cheaper points. Look, I think that would be really good. For the gaming industry, because right now there's a really big wall that a lot of people cannot climb in terms of their financial situation, and those people would be very advocate gamers in previous generations when these consoles would get much cheaper later down the line. And I think losing those people to free entertainment, like maybe they would then scroll on TikTok instead or whatever, is not good for the gaming industry as a whole, because there are totally people that buy a PS5 and then like drop out during the generation, but it was always healthy because there would always be more people coming in. But since the April price increases, we've already seen that in Japan, they went down. Like the sales are just down. Like way less people are buying these consoles. So I think the amount of people that actually buy games is getting smaller and smaller, while there are more games releasing than ever. And the single player games already have a lot of issues, because a lot of people that would first jump from single player game to single player game are now playing a forever game, a Fortnite or whatever. So they are occupied. So you miss that piece of the pie, and the piece of the pie that actually would still buy new games is getting smaller and smaller, and there are no people coming in to get a console that, like, if you buy a new console, you're like, what games did I miss? Well, what do I want to play? And if you miss those people, it's not good. So having a PlayStation 6S that comes in cheaper than PS5, like, I agree, maybe it's wishful thinking. Maybe it is. But yeah. Yeah, we will see. Do you think PS6 would pull in players from PS4 to upgrade? That's their plan, right? Right, again, like the GTA, the Rockstar numbers. GTA Online being played on PS4. Here, we saw this. PS4 still leads Xbox Series X in GTA Online users. PC ranked lost. This is the info that we learned. Sony's PS4 ranked second. So PS5 has the most weekly active users. There are almost 2 million people on PS4 playing GTA per week. That is crazy. That is like not even half, like more than half of the PS5 weekly users. These are people that are playing on the old PS4 from 2013. That is crazy. So yeah, and they're not buying a lot of the new games. They are not buying the DualSense Edge or whatever. Like Sony cannot really reach them as like new potential customers. So if they get them in with a cheap console where they can also play GTA Online, but they can also buy the new purple black controller that they are selling or whatever, that would be in Sony's best interest. So yeah, I see the business sense that it makes for Sony to make a cheaper PlayStation. But yeah, people are having a harder time juggling their money, yeah. So I would not mind having a cheaper entry point. Of course, you could, like, but then you are kind of like scratching your head. What does it mean for the PS6 exclusives? Like, right now, the PS5 base is a pretty powerful console. So, like, a Ghost of Yotei can go really crazy. A Spider-Man 2 can go really crazy. But if there's a PS6 S, similar to the Xbox Series S, maybe it means that the jump for the PlayStation 6 exclusives won't be as big. Although we will probably see a lot of cross-gen games for maybe even longer than what we saw during this generation. So, yeah, maybe it will be a long time before we see PS6 exclusives. So them being stuck on PlayStation 6S won't really matter that much. But I think it's in everyone's best interest to have as many people playing games as possible. And I totally think that right now we've reached a technical state where even on low settings, a game is pretty manageable. And through AI tech, maybe on the PlayStation 6S, they can still somehow create 60 FPS for people that want that. Although, I do think if you buy like a cheaper console, you should totally expect to not be able to play every game 60. Although, I hope that in this day and age, I mean, these people that are playing GTA 5 or on GTA Online, almost the 2 million people that are doing that, like, they're playing on 30 FPS, they don't mind. So, maybe we should not tell them about 60 FPS. This generation's consoles and AAA games have been the problem. Too expensive. Well, look, everything has become way more expensive. Like, sure, I'm sure that these companies could do a better job managing their budget and other types of things. But I think the best, like I think concerts are a great example of that as well. If you would go see your favorite band 5 years ago, it's probably half the price that it is now. And a game only increased with $10. So I really think that the games have not, like, if they really went, if they went with the same trends as other things, it would have been way more expensive. But they tried to hold on to 60 to 70. And yeah, we are kind of realizing now that a cheaper price point for games is the better option. Like, a lot of the games that have been successful these last few years are $30, $40. And it does seem like that is the best way forward. So having a $30, $40 game with the extra option to spend. So then the people that just want to play the game, grind out the battle pass or whatever without paying for it, like the Helldiver situation, they can do that. It is a grind, but you can do that. You can play the game with your friends. You can be fine. For the people that want more out of it, they have the option to pay more. So then you get the high payers that have the money, that want to spend on it. Because I do also think that it is good that there are opportunities for people to spend more on gaming. Why, if I go to a concert, can I buy a beer, a merch, and all that sort of stuff? A lot of extra stuff on top of my ticket price. And then for games, we're like, no, it has to be $60 and that's all there. Look, obviously, if they're hiding things behind a paywall that should have been free, and we're now seeing that with Crimson Desert, how great they are with that, then obviously that is different. But I do think sometimes, yeah, it can help as well. Yeah, like I think if Crimson Desert is gonna add microtransactions at one point, I think they're already clear about that. I think people would be like, dude, you earned it. It's like you were on top of all the stuff, you gave us so much stuff for free. I would be down to buy, I don't know what they would add. Hopefully a new region or something, like something big. I would be like, yeah, I want to support you guys. I want more of this. Here's my money. I think that would be great. I think that is the way forward. Like, that is also, I think, how some of the other earlier games, like other free-to-play games, like free-to-play games, it's obviously also different. You're like, I want to support you. Here's my money. The moment they change the game design or hide things behind paywalls. Again, I think what the RPG Assassin's Creed are doing after now Crimson Desert, they cannot go back to that model. I don't think you can. A lot of the cool items that are in Shadows, those are items you find in Crimson Desert, and that game has the same post-launch support. But Sony, they started releasing games at 70, which is 90. Yeah, again, everything has just increased in price. That's the sad thing. Do you think Crimson Desert will sell better than Resident Evil Requiem? I think Resident Evil Requiem will have a lot of sales like at right now. That we already know that. But I don't think the tail will be as good. Like, I think they might end up selling similarly. That's what I think. Florpy. Crimson is one of the only games that really gives a bang for your buck. But that is also how a lot of problems, Pyrus, like appear. If games are like, oh, like I get it as well. You want a lot of content, but I would also be down for like less content that is of more quality, because that is how a lot of games also got bloated. They're like, people will not pay $60 for this 10-hour very curated high quality story. So let's add a lot of fluff so we can say it's 30 hours and then people will buy it. Like Mafia 3 was really a victim of this. They were like, we cannot make this game 10 hours. So let's make all this like boring stuff, and that actually hurt the game. So it's kind of hard to juggle that. But yeah, people are voting with their wallets, and then it doesn't make sense. It does make sense that game companies react. Like we're already seeing that for Pragmata. What? 8 hours? Like I think that game should have probably been for $40, but Capcom is looking at it. We spent 6 years on this game, or maybe 7 years, because they announced it, I think, 2020, right? During the PS5 reveal. We spent a ton of money on it. We're gonna ask this. And maybe they did the math, and they're like, we know there are a lot of people that would buy it no matter what. If we lower the price, how many new people do we get? Not worth it. Okay, let's go for the... And they can, of course, lower the price later as well. So, yeah, it's interesting. Mando, if the PS6 is really launching next year, then Venom would be a launch title, don't you think? Definitely think we're getting trolled tomorrow. About the Black Flag stuff? We will see. That's the end of the stream. We're gonna see if something gets announced here in a moment, because then it's 6 o'clock here in the Netherlands, which usually means... Do-do-do. Like, that, the final update is that who's ready. It does seem that something is happening. I, by the way, always used TweetDeck, and they're now asking 60 euros per month for it, or 50. No, I don't think we have like new stuff. I'm checking following, and I'm still seeing like 18 hours ago. Like, I wanna recent. Oh yeah. Okay, this is what I want. But yeah, there's no state of play at least. Like Horizon is added to the game catalog. Yeah, that's it. I'll of course report. We at least have the Metro reveal tomorrow. I'll of course let you know about everything. And yeah, let's hope Black Flag is here too. I'll, of course, keep you up to date. Thanks for watching. It's really cool to do these streams and discuss everything with you. And hope to see you very, very soon. Again, the streams will be on a hiatus, sadly, because I'm unable to do them. But I will be back, and then we will do the Wednesday streams on a regular pace. So thanks everyone for